Hi there, Teacher Harry here, and welcome back to the English lessons where I try to help you to get a better understanding of the English language. So, what am I going to talk to you about today? Well, today we're going to talk about expressions, and in particular, expressions with the word know, and that's K-N-O-W, not N-O, so K-N-O-W. In English, we often use I know or you know as a way of filling in a conversation. So you'll hear it a lot from native English speakers. I know, yeah, I know. So you use it as an acknowledgement that you understand what the person is talking about, or indeed, you know what I'm trying to say. But here we're going to use some specific phrases. So as far as I know. So when we use this expression, as far as I know, we're going to give some additional information, or we're going to give somebody some advice, or somebody might ask you for some advice. And you say, well, as far as I know, the best bus that you can get to get you to the town is the number 66. And you just walk across the street here, wait for that bus, and that'll take you into the center of the city. As far as I know, the boss left an hour ago, and I'm not sure he's going to be back for the next couple of days. Yeah. So as far as I know is the information that you have on a particular issue that might be helpful to the other person. Now, it might change, but when we use the expression as far as I know, that means the information that you have to hand. This is the situation. This is the bus you get. This is where the person is. This is what you should do with that. So if you have a technical problem, as far as I know, what you're expected to do is contact the IT department, as far as I know. To know something inside out. Well, when we know something inside out, we know every little detail. So the teacher might tell the class, before this exam, you have to do a lot of preparation, and really, particularly with history, you got to know these topics inside out, because there's certainly going to be a lot of questions based on this part of history, and the examiner is going to be looking out for some specific information. So you need to study really hard, and you need to know this topic inside out, meaning every little detail. He knows this city inside out. So he's been living here most of his life. So if there's any part of the city that you don't know or you need to get to, just ask Peter, because he knows everything about it. He knows it inside out. God or heaven only knows. So this is one of these exclamations that we use when somebody says, what are we going to do about that customer? He's really annoyed. I mean, he's looking for some answers today, and you'll just put your eyes up to heaven and say, oh, God only knows what I'm going to tell him. I have no idea. I'm going to have to wait until the boss comes back. Oh, heaven only knows. I mean, it's an exclamation that we use to suggest that we have no idea, and nobody else will know, and the only person who's likely to know is God, and he's not likely to tell us. Yeah, so God only knows what's going to happen. What's going to happen at the end of this pandemic? What's going to be the situation with regard to employment? What's going to be the situation with vaccinations? God only knows. Heaven knows. What are we going to do? Nobody really knows. Not to know someone from Adam. So when we use this expression, it means we don't really know who you're talking about. Yeah. Okay. So if you're talking about a guy or a woman on the next floor, or the next apartment block, or somebody in the university, I don't know him from Adam. I've never met him. I don't really know who you're talking about. Perhaps I did meet him, but to be honest, I really don't know him from Adam. And if you walked through the door now, I've no idea who he is, or I've no idea who she is. I don't know her from Adam. I don't know him from Adam. So the reference to Adam is a reference in the Bible of the first person that God supposedly created, so Adam and Eve. So when we don't know anybody from Adam, we wouldn't recognize them, we don't know them, and really we'd have to be introduced to them to understand exactly who they are. So I don't know him or her from Adam. To know something like the back of your hand. Well, earlier we explained about knowing something inside out, and this is very, very similar. So when you know something like the back of your hand, okay, so you know everything about it. I know this city like the back of my hand. I used to work for a taxi company, so I've driven every street. I used to work in a courier company delivering packages, so I don't think there's any street in this city that I don't know. In fact, I could say that I know it like the back of my hand. Oh, I've been working in this company for many, many years and I know everything about it. I know the rules, the regulations. I know it like the back of my hand. So that document about our marketing strategy, I wrote that years ago. There've been a few little changes, but to be honest, I know it like the back of my hand. To know a thing or two about something. Well, when we know a thing or two about something, we know a little bit more than other people. Yeah. So if you're having a problem with your car, the best person to ask is David. He's always tinkering around with his car. At the weekends, if you go to see him, he's always got the bonnet of the car up and he's got his head in the engine and he's fiddling around with this and fiddling around with that. So if you've got a problem with your car, you should really talk to him because he knows a thing or two about it. If you've got an IT problem, the best person to talk to is Mary. She knows a thing or two about technology. I think she studied it at university, so she knows a bit more than the rest of us. Okay, so it always helps to know a thing or two about something, a thing or two about small talk so that you can carry on conversations, a thing or two about sports so that if you get stuck in a conversation with some colleagues, you're able to make some contribution to the conversation. So to know a thing or two about something. A thing or two about cooking. So if you're stuck on your own and you got some food in the fridge, you'll be able to rustle up a quick meal. To know a thing or two about something. To know your place. Well, they used to use this a lot in high society, to know your place in society, who should talk to who. So, particularly in the army or some hierarchical organization like that, you had to know your place. So if you were just an ordinary private or a sergeant, you didn't mix with the majors and the captains and the colonels and the generals. So you had to know your place, who you were, where you stood relative to other people. So it's not so relevant today in a society where we are supposed to be equal, but in many societies there are some people, unfortunately, a little more equal than others. So in some respects, we still have to know our place. Where are we? Where do we fit in? Yeah. Okay. So if you join a new company, what you'd like to know is the structure, the organization, who reports to who. So you might look at an organization chart to see which departments report into the chief executive, which departments report into the financial officer, whatever it might be, so that you know your place in the organization, you know who is who, you know who you can talk to if you want to get something done. So to know your place. Not to know his arse from his elbow. Well, as I said at the beginning, this is a little bit rude, and I wouldn't recommend it to use it with anybody that you value as a customer or you value as a friend, because they could get very insulted. So, not to know your arse from your elbow. Firstly, your arse is your backside or your bottom, to be more polite, and these are your elbows. And so, not to know your arse from your elbow means to know nothing. And say, that guy, you're wasting your time talking to him. You might as well bang your head off the wall because he doesn't know his arse from his elbow. He'll tell you something, but to be honest, I wouldn't believe it. I don't really think he understands it correctly. So that would be quite damaging to hear about yourself or other people, but that's how somebody feels. So when they're frustrated and they're angry and they're annoyed because you weren't able to help them, well, then they can say, that guy, he doesn't know his arse from his elbow. Now, it might mean that he just doesn't understand something. Yeah, you could often try to get through to a government department, the health department or the tax department or whatever it might be, and you're trying to get something organized or some problem resolved, and they can't help you, so you put down the phone in an angry way, say, those people, they don't know their arse from their elbow. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'll just write in a letter and hope somebody intelligent replies to me. So not to know your arse from your elbow is not to really know or understand anything. But as I said, it's a little bit rude, so be careful who you use it with. You really have to trust a friend if you say something to them that they're not going to repeat it to somebody else. Okay. Next, knowing my luck. Well, we use knowing my luck when we want to tell somebody that either we have bad luck, or we usually have some bad luck, or we're in the situation where we have more bad luck than the average person. So we say this when we're then going to explain that we expect something unfortunate or misfortunate to happen. Oh, knowing my luck, when I get there, the shop will be closed. Or knowing my luck, when I go to collect my mobile phone, they will have lost it. That's what they did the last time. Or when I try to pick up the dry cleaning, I'll get the wrong suit or the wrong trousers. That happened to me 6 months ago. So we've got endless stories and examples of when we had bad luck or we had misfortune. So this is what our experience was. So we use this expression to tell somebody else that, yeah, knowing my luck, that's what's going to happen to me this time. Okay. And then finally, before you know it. Well, when we use the expression before you know it, it means that time is going to pass very quickly. And before you know it, something will have happened. So let's give you an example. You're talking to the kids and it's just after Christmas or New Year and they're about to start the new school year and they're moaning, oh, I don't want to go back to school. Oh, why can't we stay at home another couple of days? Look, you've had long holidays, so let's get into the new term. And before you know it, it's going to be May and you're going to be coming to the end of the school year and then you've got a big long summer holiday to look forward to. Or before you know it, they'll start the training again and your football team will be back playing matches. So don't worry about it. Okay, so before you know it, to say, no, don't be moaning. Don't worry about this. Before you know it, something will have happened and everything will be okay. So anytime that we want to say that something will happen and it'll probably happen a little quicker or time will, as it always does, will pass by a little quicker, we can use that expression before you know it. Okay, so let me give you those again. As far as I know, to know something inside out, God or heaven only knows, to know something like the back of your hand, to know a thing or two about something, to know your place and to know your place in society, not to know his arse from his elbow. And remember, it's a little bit rude. Knowing my luck. And then before you know it. That's the last one. Okay, well, hopefully you've got a good understanding of those expressions with know. Practice them and use them. They're very, very, very common. And you'll be able to fit in quite easily when you get a little bit of practice. So 3 things that I want to add. First thing is you can listen to me on my podcast. Okay. You can watch my YouTube channel, and indeed you can subscribe to the channel. And finally, you can check out on my webpage for lots of wonderful courses that might help you to improve your English. As always, I really appreciate you watching and listening to me, and I'll join you again soon.